never a woman to begin
hang on.
with.
Let me bring in Tyrus, who's been sitting patiently on this. I mean, Tyrus, this plays into this whole issue of transgender.
It's the grouping. It's transgender, black, alien from Mars. Doesn't matter. Murderer. Serial murderer. Whatever accoutrement or whatever nickname or pronoun this individual had is out the window once he took the life of the victim. The victim's nicknames, the victim's name, the victim's culture should all we be talking about. Yeah. Instead, because whether they're transgendered or not, and like I said, it's that grouping. It's so bad here in America because with grouping.
Did you catch that? Ava Santina just told the panel, on camera, that it doesn't matter to her whether a violent murderer identifies as a woman or actually is one. Not, it's complicated. Not, let's look at the facts. Flat out doesn't care. And Tyrus wasn't going to let that slide for 1 second. His response is coming up, and it is exactly the gut punch this conversation needed. You're all for women's rights right up until it's inconvenient for your narrative. That's the whole left's playbook exposed in one sentence. Stick around, because what follows is Tyrus taking apart the feelings over facts argument piece by piece, and by the end, Ava doesn't have a comeback left in the tank.
You can get away with all kinds of stuff and blanket stuff and then take away from the actual issue is this individual does not represent trans people. He does not represent the gay community.
I take issue with that
he
because
represents
it matters.
Himself. He chose, and whatever he wanted. I listened to you talk for what felt like a year. Give me my 30 seconds and you guys can have the segment. This individual is the only thing we should be focused on. We shouldn't know his name. We shouldn't know what he looks like. He should get no press. He can't be made into a martyr. And two, he shouldn't be bringing down the group that he claimed, because he doesn't represent the trans community. No one in the trans community wants to walk around killing people.
But I've noticed, Tyrus,
in my community, if I decide to kill Pierce for bringing me into this fight today, I'm not representing black community. I'm represented.
Hold on.
Pissed
no,
off
I understand
Tyrus
that, but
went after Pierce.
But interestingly,
I just have me black. But I love you, and
thank
I
you.
won't.
Well, don't kill me, because you actually could kill me with your bare hands. I've actually been close enough.
But
to
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If I right now lost my mind and did something, I'm not doing it on behalf of Black America.
No, I understand that, but you would go down.
Cool tattoos.
No, but
I'm doing it because Tyrus did it.
Let me respond though.
That's the position. Leave the other stuff out and let's have a real conversation about the individual.
No, I get that, but
he doesn't represent anybody.
Let me respond to that. So here's where I think there's a slight flaw in that argument, which is you say, okay, if you commit a murder, it's not about your skin color, whatever, but it would go down in statistics that a black man had committed a murder. Right? So say, for example...
Yes, it should be the statistics. Statistics are not open to feelings. Feelings are pretty lies we tell ourselves to feel better about.
Okay, but Tyrus,
the facts of the statistics is a man killed it.
But this is the whole point.
Women wouldn't be...
Yeah, but this is the
I
whole
agree
point.
with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, but see,
I'm with you. He should be...
You've called this person repeatedly...
If he's sitting down and he still has a penis, Morgan, he needs to go down as a man. He's a biological man. In the stats, it's off biology.
But that is JK Rowling's. That's JK Rowling's argument.
No, she doesn't have an argument. She's making a factual statement. And she's getting yelled at for it. It's not an argument. She's not breaking the mold here. She didn't drop something. This isn't Harry Potter, some new magic spell she dropped on us. We all know this. We're all adults in the room. We know what a man is and knows what look like. We know what a woman is and looks like. It's just these stupid narratives and trying to fall into whatever side you want to fall.
But should it go down, Tyrus? Tyrus, the key point though is, should it go down as a crime statistic that a woman committed this heinous crime, or a man?
The statistic should say his height, weight, gender, and the time of murder. That's it. Who cares about who he was as a person? He's lost that right once he took someone else's life. All we care about is making sure that justice is served and he gets put away for whatever they do, whatever you guys do over there. I don't think you guys do the death sentence anymore, so whatever's over there. But in the stats, no name, just the facts, Jack. And he was born, they checked M for male on his birth certificate. That's what you are. His feelings is irrelevant.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right, it's an interesting debate, and I actually agree with that. I agree with JK Rowling. If I was a woman, I'm not, obviously. I'm not declaring myself as a woman today. Maybe tomorrow I will feel like one. And according to Ava Santina, I can just feel like one and be one. I think that is... Well, it is what you said, actually.
Not what I've said.
You said this person...
Okay, Ava Santina's entire argument boiled down to one sentence. I don't care if the murderer identified as a woman. I care that she was a murderer. Sounds reasonable for about 4 seconds until you realize she's not just talking about compassion, she's talking about crime statistics. She's fine erasing biological reality from the record because acknowledging it might make trans-identifying offenders look bad in the data. That's not open-mindedness. That's cooking the books with a smile on your face. And Tyrus didn't let her get away with it for 1 second. Statistics are not open to feelings. Feelings are pretty lies we tell ourselves. Write that down. Frame it. That's the difference between a man raised on common sense and a panelist raised on Twitter talking points. Tyrus's point is dead simple. If a biological male commits a crime, he goes in the record as what he biologically is. Height, weight, sex, time of the crime. Not vibes. Not self-identification. Facts. And here's the line that should have ended the segment right there. He still has a penis. Morgan, he needs to go down as a man. He's a biological man, in the stats. No hedging, no committee-approved language, just the truth stated plainly, while the rest of the panel squirmed. Ava even admitted the reason the label matters is public policy translation. She wants the numbers massaged because the real numbers are inconvenient. She brought up that 70% of trans women in prison are there for sexual offenses against biological women. And instead of that alarming her, she pivoted straight back to defending the labeling system that hides it. That's not compassion. That's activism wearing a lab coat. Tyrus wasn't buying it for a second, and neither should you.
Let's bring in Tyrus on this. There are lots of these movies going back, in the last 80 years, which will contain words which by today's definition would be deemed offensive. Should we be recategorizing everything over a movie like Mary Poppins?
No, I think we're just brittle. I think we're softer than a hard-boiled egg. Yeah, of course, Mary Poppins is racist. I remember watching it as a child and going, my gosh, spoonful of sugars for breakfast. Listen, this is as stupid as it gets. The movie was made in a time period, and I guess nobody has parents anymore, or an uncle or a grand. And if they were singing it and they said it, like, hey, what's that word? Because guess what? Americans' movies got some bad words in it. And sometimes, as best as a parent can do, they're going to say something, they're going to ask you a question. And this is the part as an adult, you say, oh, that was a bad word that was used and we don't use that word anymore. So we don't say that. So if you hear someone saying that, let daddy know right away and we'll deal with it. That's how we used to deal with things. Now, we got to label Mary Poppins as a racist. Did she also have a swastika? Is that why the umbrella flew? I mean, it's stupid. Like, we are so safe, apparently, that we have time to go back and pick on Mary Poppins. You want to pick on Mary Poppins? Pick on the sequel. How dare they? Even though Angela Lansbury was in there at the end, the real star was not there. And so, therefore, boo. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Like, we have so much time on our hands. And we're so safe that we can make Mary Poppins. Down with Poppins.
The song N-Words in Paris by Jay-Z and Kanye West went platinum. It was one of the most successful songs that year. And for some reason, it doesn't have trigger warnings. You can sing the N-word with impunity. There is no American rapper today that doesn't use the N-word. And I don't see people clutching their pearls. I don't see,
Eminem.
Exactly. Except him. But I don't see trigger warnings on all these rappers that use clearly racially derogatory language. But for some reason, they can go back and comb through the archives of history and find the racist things in Mary Poppins, which was appropriate for its time. This is what people don't understand.
Reminds me, Ava, it reminds me of when John Legend took it upon himself to rewrite the lyrics to Baby It's Cold Outside, because clearly it wasn't the innocent, flirtatious thing we thought it was, the video from the movie. It was actually a clear sexual assault. And so he rewrote all the lyrics. He's never rewritten any lyrics for any of his rap friends who write about the most appalling misogyny, right? So there's, again, a rank hypocrisy there. But on Mary Poppins, does anyone even know what Hottentots is? Does anybody ever ask? I didn't know about this scandal until I read that they were having to reclassify. I'm like, why?
I hadn't heard about it before either, but I would actually like to pick up on something that...
I was too afraid that the only job I could get was cleaning chimneys if I didn't get my grades up. That's what I was afraid of.
Tyrus, I'm a little bit confused because a couple of moments ago we were talking about gender ideology, and you were talking about the books that libs of TikTok wanted to ban or wanted to have. You said you don't want to ban them, but you'd like to see sort of warnings on them about explicit content. I'm just wondering, why would you want explicit content warnings on those sort of books? But then when it comes to this, you're saying that everyone is too soft and it should be parents in the room who should just tell you not to feel the way that you do.
If there's explicit warnings on it, Because if there's explicit warning on the books at the library, then the children will need parent permission to check them out. So instead of just, or a teacher, or guess what? There's not always good people in the schools or an adult to be giving those types of books to children. So if you're going to have a book in a child's presence where unsupervised children are in the library, it'd be nice to have one section in the library for adult content books or sexual.
Now, is that not the argument that they're making about Mary Poppins?
All have the same thing. So Mary Poppins wasn't talking about getting it on with the old man in the bathtub with a sex scene.
I don't think that there are any children's books that are specific.
Guess what? We would have changed it.
Oh, but there are,
So if the chimney thing would have been something different. So this is what you do. And like I said earlier, I don't know you. You know you better. You're trying to bring. You can't make the argument, so you try to bring in something else. Like, gotcha. Yeah, life is different. I don't care.
It must be very frustrating to have your argument pulled apart.
It was fun. It was a musical movie. It's different than somebody's life story.
But just to be clear here, so you would like trigger warnings on gender ideology. You don't want trigger warnings on anything else.
School, it wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
Parents aren't at school to see what books their children are getting.
I think your argument's fallen apart,
having a warning in a section or a letter sent home to parents saying, we're going to be having this book talking about this stuff. Are you okay with that? The movies you usually watch with your family. So they're two different subjects, but I guess you're running out of time.
Okay.
You know what? I think
please don't bring in something else. Call me. Maybe I could be a toxic, masculine alpha male.
But I didn't say anything like that about you. Today. You asked for a real conversation, and then I offer you a real conversation, and you just talk over me. So I mean, what's the point? I want books on World War II with death pictures in it. I want boxing pictures with blood in it to let the parents know what their kids are reading. God forbid.
This actually reminds me
that we need to know what our kids are reading.
Now here's where it gets even better, because Ava tries to pull a classic media gotcha on Tyrus and it blows up in her face. The topic shifts to Mary Poppins getting reclassified as offensive over a word most people have never even heard of, Hottentot. Tyrus's response? Perfect. He roasts the sheer fragility of a culture that will dig 80 years into the archive to cancel a Disney nanny, while Inward in Paris by Jay-Z and Kanye went platinum with 0 trigger warnings anywhere. That's not a take, that's just math. Selective outrage, every single time, always pointed at the same targets. So what does Ava do? She can't argue the point, so she tries to trap him instead. Wait, didn't you just say you wanted warning labels on explicit books for kids? But now you're saying everyone's too soft about a movie? Classic deflection when you can't win the actual argument, change the subject, and act like you caught him in a contradiction. Except Tyrus saw it coming from a mile away and shut it down instantly. A musical from 1964 is not the same conversation as sexually explicit content sitting unsupervised in a school library. One is asking for basic parental awareness. The other is a moral panic over a word from a kid's movie. He said it plainly, "You're trying to break me. You can't make the argument, so you bring in something else." That's exactly what happened, on camera, in real time. Ava got outmaneuvered twice in one segment, and the only thing that saved her was Piers running out of time.